So the area around Kincraig is part of the national park, and so therefore prices for housing are very high, particularly high now. Very, very, very few rentals left now at all. I think we were lucky when we moved here 15 years ago. But there's a desperate need, absolutely desperate need for affordable and warm housing, definitely.
Many of the houses are taken up by being holiday homes, so people visiting the area own the houses and there's nowhere to rent, or very few places to rent in fact, and even less to buy. So this kind of project is vital, I would say, for community in this area. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
To describe the site here as it was a bit of forest. It was the Forestry Commission, I believe, sold this site to the Community Council or the Small Communities Housing Trust, and I think together they worked to put the plan together for this place. So originally there was a phase 1 where they did 4 houses that were all detached. So there's 4 detached houses at the bottom, and then our phase 2, this is 6 houses, so they did 2 sets of semi-detached.
The main aim seemed to be trying to use stuff that was locally sourced, which is why they're all larch clad. And one of the other key factors that they were trying to achieve with the buildings was to build them obviously for as little as they could, but in parallel make them as well insulated as was physically possible as well, so as it wasn't going to cost the end home owners a lot of money to keep them warm. They tried to use local contractors as well, so that was probably a bonus for us, working with materials and subcontractors from all through the Spey Valley.
The aspect of the house was really considered, so it's south facing, and I believe that the construction has special layers of insulation that sort of keeps the heat in the winter and reflects it in the summer. And we have solar panels for the hot water, which have been absolutely brilliant, and we have the stove, which has got a water jacket around it, and that pumps, so the stove system, you light the fire, it heats the water first, so it all pumps up into the tank, and as it gets up to temperature, it then pumps the radiator heat around the radiators.
The solar panels are fantastic. We really noticed the difference with that. Where we lived before, we were paying for oil, wood, electricity, all 3, and it was extortionate. We've noticed a huge difference in our costs in that way. It's changing a wee bit now in the sense we've got the wood burning stove, and it's being able to provide enough wood to keep the stove running in the winter is becoming a problem. It's getting more expensive as time goes on and less available, so maybe that's something we'd have to look at in the future. I do think that's the main issue that would come up for us, would be how to heat the house in the winter if wood was not available, so that's maybe something to think about for the future.
When the site was first developed, obviously the trees that were cut down were used for quite a few building projects, and certainly all our wood sheds, and I think there was a couple of sheds built down for bin storage and for it's almost like a bus shelter, isn't it, for the kids going to school and stuff.
There was a shed building scheme, so the locals got involved with that, and then they donated wood to Alvey Primary, which was used for cladding one of the outdoor buildings.
And I believe there was apprentices, people employed specifically for that. So there was, I think that was part of the funding structure.
We did phase 1. They wanted to negotiate phase 2 on a different type of contract, so we took on board the design and tried to, but we employed the same architect, but tried to perhaps make some improvements. Obviously you always doing construction, learn from what you've had before. So the job was priced, and then we were advised that they would like us to take on board, I think it was something like 12 to 16 school leavers or people that had left school and weren't in employment and were wanting to learn a trade. We agreed to take on as many as we could, which I think was 8, and we spread you know, they worked alongside their joiners, so there may have been one of the guys working in one house, one in another, and then some of the other guys were on other sites.
I'd always wanted a job in construction, and I just so happened to ask Lings to see if they had any apprenticeships on the go, and they said that there was a scheme coming up. So I says, all right, well, I'll put my name forward in the hopes that I'd get an apprenticeship, you know, and here I am.
3 days of college was just that, and then you get 2 days on site as a part of the college course, but I got the chance for an apprenticeship at the end, so I just took that on.
Well, when I first started out here, we first started off with this house. We put the kit up, done the roof and everything, and then we kind of swapped on over, got the kit and the roof up for this one. We were kind of going just back and forth really, whether it was doing the tin or the cladding around the buildings, and you're just kind of mix and match. Just anyone that really needed a hand as well, we'd go in and tie with them and help them out. It gave you a chance to have a shot of doing different things with tools and stuff that you'd never done before. You know, you got to work as a team. Obviously you've never done anything like it, so you had to work as a team and figuring stuff out and stuff, so it's helped massively, you know. It's kind of eggs you on for the rest of your career.
You know, there's a lot of considerations out with just getting guys to help, but it worked well, and I think I said to you before, 3 of the guys that worked here have been with us since 2013. So, and I believe some of the other ones have found employment in the same trade they were working at when they were here, way back then.
I think looking back, we could have had better communication between the construction team and the architects, and then we maybe wouldn't have come across some of the challenges that we got further on down the line.
It would be the heating system, something a little bit more like the air source. I don't know how efficient it is, but that would be probably preferable, and as much solar as you can possibly get, because solar heating has been fantastic. Construction-wise, yeah, space for people. Make sure they've got enough space, and space for the wood sheds or space for what the house is built for, definitely.
There were new homeowners. There were homeowners that had not had a house before. They'd maybe been at home or they rented with their parents, and this was a big challenge for them, taking on their own house. And there was a lot, and I think we should have had somebody with them, showing them how everything worked: central heating systems, the fire systems, the septic tank systems.
The difference it's made to us and the community has been absolutely vast. It's just from the houses that we were all in before we got here were just shocking, just shockingly cold, shockingly damp, shockingly expensive, and really it's an excellent model for family housing in the future. We need the green space. We really need the green space and the efficient housing and nice houses, because the kids don't want to leave them. You know, we don't want to leave. We don't. You know, you keep your workforce, you keep your communities together. It's just been brilliant.
Most of the people that are living in here were at school together, so I see that without this project, a lot of these people wouldn't be here.
We do consider this as our forever home. This is where we'll be, as long as we're healthy enough to keep maintaining it. But in the hope that our children would choose to live here because they love this area. Chicken